After 10 years, we return to the Lambert family for a very different kind of Insidious movie. Hey guys, welcome to my review of Insidious The Red Door. This is the 5th movie in the Insidious franchise. And the Insidious franchise is a horror franchise that started in 2010 with James Wan and Lee Ranell. And this is a horror franchise I really like, all the way since it started. And now we are with chapter 5 in the franchise. And after 2 prequel movies, we return to the Lambert family. That's the family that was the focus point of the first 2 Insidious movies. After Insidious chapter 2, we focus on different families. But we are now in the 5th installment, so we go back to that Lambert family. And it's 10 years later. And the family dynamics are a bit different. Joss and Renee are not longer a couple, they are divorced. The children are older, especially Dalton. Dalton was the kid that was tormented, haunted by an evil demon in the first movie. He is now 18 or 19 years old, and in the movie starts when the father, Joss, is bringing him to college. And it's at college, and he starts to paint his drawings in his classroom, in the lessons that he takes. He is starting to remember things from the first 2 movies, because after chapter 2 they did something with Joss and Dalton, so they wouldn't remember the things that happened. But Dalton in this movie is starting to remember again what has happened, slowly. So while he is remembering, old demons from his past are coming back to once more haunt him again, torment him again, and try to possess him. So that is really the movie, the plot of this movie. And I don't know, a lot of things happen in this movie, so I'm going to try to stay very vague about this movie because everything feels like a spoiler. And I absolutely don't want to spoil anything about this movie, because that would be a shame. But what I can tell you is that this movie feels different than the other Insidious movies we already had. It feels like a different kind of horror movie. It's not really that movie, it's not really commercial. It's not for the entertainment value, it's not to really scare you about evil that we have to defeat, about all these jump scares. No, it feels more than that. It's more deeper than that. It has more meaning. And yeah, the movie also feels like a bit therapeutic in that way. But let me explain why Insidious The Red Door is a very different kind of horror movie. First of all, the pacing is very slow. It's a really slow burn of a movie. And for some of you, this might be a problem. They will think this movie is boring because of this slower pace. Sometimes I am in that group. For me, a slower paced movie is also sometimes a boring movie because things does not go very fast as they should be. But some movies with a slower pace are actually good with a slower pace. And this movie is one of them. I really think the slow pace benefits the movie. But even though there is a slower pace, it's a slow burn, I was really fascinated by this movie. As soon as the movie started, all the way to the end, I was really fascinated by this movie. I was really wondering what the directions were going to be, what was going to happen next. I was really sucked into the story, and that's a very good thing. It's a very good story. And also, why this feels like a different kind of horror movie is because it feels like a character study. The movie really focuses on Dalton Lambert, so the kid from the first 2 movies, now as a fresh adult, going to college and how he is dealing with the stuff that happened in the past, how he is struggling. Because when the movie starts, our first impression of this older Dalton is that he is a tormented soul. He's like a broken man. He's not very happy. He has a certain sadness to him. Um, he knows something was wrong, but he does not really know what exactly. So that's how we meet Dalton again, and it's really a character study on him. Because when he goes to college, he goes to this art lesson. There he has to draw something from his deepest memory, and he paints this red door, which is the title of this movie. And that's when the movie starts, and that's when he is struggling with his traumas from his childhood, and struggling with all the demons that are coming back in his life to torment him once more. And Dalton is played by Ty Simpkins, who is the main actor of this movie. And Ty, still a young actor at this point, does a very excellent acting job. He's very believable in the character. And he is actually the same actor from Insidious Chapter 1 and 2, when he was a kid. So the casting did a really good job casting him, because this child actor is going to be a great actor as an adult. I'm pretty sure about that. So he does a great job. And with acting this tormented soul who is dealing with old demons that are coming back in his life. So good job. Who also did a good job was Patrick Wilson, and not as an actor, because besides as an actor, Patrick Wilson is now the director of this fifth movie, and he does a really good job directing this film. He does not really have a specific directing style. I actually believe this is the directorial debut, but he keeps it to the basics. He does the basics really good, like he uses a lot of shot, reverse shot. He really knows on what he has to focus in the frame, but he does not really have very spectacular camera movements like James Wan did in the first two movies. But nonetheless, you can tell that he, as an actor, spending a lot of time on the horror sets of James Wan with the Insidious movies, but also with the Conjuring movies, he learned a lot. And you can tell that he creates this really eerie, scary atmosphere to the movie. He really brings the horror alive in this movie. And that's a really good job doing that. And he also does a really good job directing Ty Simpkins in his portrayal of Dalton, who is dealing with all these kind of stuff throughout the movie. And I think the horror really works. There are some scary atmosphere. I would not say it's a scary movie per se, but Patrick Wilson did manage to jump scare me. I'm not easily scared. I do not really jump with a jump scare that easily. I always see them coming very fast. But there is one jump scare in this movie that had an effect on me. I did jump scared because I did not saw that one coming at all. That came out of nowhere. So that was also very good. I really like when a director succeeds in making me jump scare. So good job, Patrick Wilson. And also, what really made me excited for this movie was the return of what is called the lipstick demon. You know, that red demon from the first movie. Don't really like his name. I always call him the red demon. And he is back. And that made me excited, and he is back in a good way. We don't see him a lot, but the scenes we have with him, they are very effective. And they are the best scenes in this movie. So, very glad that they brought the best demon of this franchise back in this movie. But all in all, it feels more like a dramatic horror movie than a really scary, jump-scared horror movie. because the movie really focuses on the struggles Dalton has. There is this father-son relationship, and that is why this feels more like a different kind of horror movie. It's more about these characters than really about the evil. And and I would even say that all those demon stuff is very symbolic in this movie. There are demons, but they also refer to something else, like more inner tormented issues characters have. And even the title of this movie, The Red Door, feels like very symbolic, therapeutic in a way. So, and actually, I don't mind that this is a very different kind of horror movie. It really works well. It's a great movie. I certainly recommend it, but be aware that it might not be your typical ghost demon story like you're used to it. They do things a bit differently, but that makes the movie actually work for me. So I really like this movie. I think it works. I really recommend it. These were my thoughts without spoiling too much of it. Please check it out. And yeah, be open for what kind of story you're gonna get. So, for me, a perfect Insidious movie. If it's the last movie, it's a very good conclusion. I don't know if they're gonna make any more. They don't have to, because this movie feels like the good conclusion for this franchise. So, guys, this was my review. Hope you enjoyed it, and till the next time.